Fabi would be winning. Did I say we were in for a roller coaster ride? It was that was the chess.
Takes E5 out of the blue, Yasser. Welcome back, everyone, to the Rapid Chess Championship presented by Coinbase. We have had a rough time with Yasser trying to choose which game to highlight as the top game of the day, because there have been so many exciting ones, Yasser.
No question about it, Anna. It's been a roller coaster ride all day long. But the game between Fabiano Caruana and David
Paravyan, yeah, difficult surname.
Yeah, their rapid was just amazing, and I'd love to show some highlights when we get the chance.
Indeed. So our Coinbase rapid recap of the day will feature the game between Fabiano Caruana and David Paravyan. This was their first game, rapid time control, 10+2 time control.
And again, this is just typical of the extraordinary ups and downs that this tournament has brought us so far. So out of the opening, you can't say that White achieved any really big advantage. Nothing happening thus far, but boy, did things heat up in the middle game. Black was under a little bit of a cramp. And once we got to this position, after knight c4, bishop f3, we began to understand that David was under pressure. His pieces are not as harmoniously placed as White's, and with the move queen d2 and rook d1, Fabi was getting ready to burst open the center with d4, thanks to his better development. After rook c7, here it came, this crazy move, knight d6, that had us kind of our jaws wide open. We were like thinking just knight e5, but knight d6 considerably upped the ante. And after c4, again, crazy tactical motifs in the position after a4 were not explored. Fabi played knight c5, and we were all very, very confused as the players quickly got to a position.
Yes, do you mind if I add that knight c5 moment? Because I remember there we were calculating a lot of things, and also the capture of that knight on c5. We were considering whether it could have been the moment where Black takes a pawn, grabs a pawn, because we are pawn grabbers here, right?
Exactly.
Yes, sir, you and me.
Exactly.
Grabbers. So the knight c5, one interesting line that we were thinking of. Remember this moment when we considered White plays knight c5, Black takes on c5, pawn takes, rook takes c5, and queen d4 seems to be winning because the rook is hanging and there's checkmate on g7, but there's defensive move for Black that kind of undermines the whole line here for White.
Exactly. And I think both players missed this moment when what you're saying, queen d4 with a double attack against the pawn on g7 mate, the rook on c5. And it appears at first blush that Black is toast until you see the move c3 and you go, ruh-roh. C3 blocks the diagonal. Yes, you lose the rook, but after queen takes c5 takes on b2, oopsie daisy, the rook on c1 is hanging, the knight on d6 is pinned, and it's Black who comes out material ahead. So in fact, the move knight c5 was an oversight by Fabi, and he wasn't punished.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see what Fabi would have come up with if the knight was going to be taken and rook takes c5, because queen d4, as you have showed, Yasser, was not going to be a good move. Instead, we have a different trade. Bishop takes d6, knight takes a6.
Right. And the players got to a position that, once again, after the move queen d4, I had been expecting the move c3, and then after bishop takes c3, there would have been a trade. And at the end of all of those trades, most likely White is for choice, but a draw was in the air. Instead, after c3, considerably upping the ante, Fabi played bishop a1 because his opponent was playing. And that was what
the time factor is so important in speed chess. He was down to about 15 seconds at this point, David Paravyan, with Fabiano having about 2 minutes. Makes sense that you play on, that you try to keep the position complex, but it backfired. Yes, it backfired for him.
Boomerang is what happened. Because in this position, Fabi thought, what I'll do is I'll play e4. Very, very nice move. I'll chase the knight away. And no matter where this knight goes, backwards or forwards, I will then capture this pawn on c3. Then I'll have two bishops versus two knights in an open position. I'll have a winning advantage. Great plan, except one small problem. Rook c4 turns the tables right around, because now the queen is pushed off the long diagonal, and worse, it has to go to a square where it walks into this brilliant knight e5. And then at this point, it's all over. Black is the one who is suddenly up material, and he's got the game really under control. This pawn on c2, it's game over. But again, time trouble is a crucial factor. And right here, pulling a rabbit out of his hat, it doesn't look like there's any back rank checkmates, but look at this move, a gorgeous move. Bishop takes e5, so that after queen takes e5, queen takes c4, and ruh-roh, there's a checkmate on the back rank, and suddenly Fabi would be winning. Did I say we were in for a roller coaster ride? It was, that was the chess.
E5 out of the blue, Yasser. We thought that obviously Paravyan had no time. He was down to his final 10 seconds with a 2-second increment. So the idea that he has set up, tripling on the c file and pushing e5, was the right one, but not the right move, or not the right execution.
Precisely so. And after bishop e5, he found, despite the shock of the move, bishop takes e5, he did find knight e2 check, threatening the rook on c1. The knight had to be captured, which means that the rook is no longer on the open d file. And so after queen takes e5, now you can't take the pawn on c2 because it's back rank mate on white's back rank. So after g3, g6, finally the play calmed down. We were soon in a queen and pawn ending of 3 versus 3, and the players could relax and make a draw. But that was a typical game of these knockout matches that had us literally on the edge of our seat, because the tension is so high. One single slip and you're out of the competition. It was great. It was great fun. And by the way, Anna, it was great working with you too.
Thank you so much, Yasser. Always amazing to listen to your insight and the analysis. And this has been your Coinbase rapid recap of the day. After this draw, they went on to play a tiebreaker in Blitz, which ended up in favor of Fabi. He won that match in the semifinals, but then lost the finals against Levon Aronian. He is our champion. He's the winner of today's Rapid Chess Championship. And that will give him some points for our overall standing. Let's take a look at how our players are doing after several weeks.
Nice.
Fabiano still in the lead. And then we've got Hikaru with 17 points. David Paravyan is now in third place with 14
He's been
points.
Consistent.
Very consistent. Yeah, he has qualified so many times already from the Swiss to the knockout stage. While for Levon, this was the first time that he played, that he qualified to the final, and immediately he won it. So now he goes up all the way to the 5th place with this final win today against Fabiano.
Very nice. And he's a very gracious champion, as he spoke very kindly, I want to say, about his opponent, Fabiano, who, as you said, is still our tournament leader in the Rapid Championships.